This morning I want to take a look at Galatians chapter 5, verses 22, 23, and then we'll jump down to verse 25. Very familiar verse to many, but it reads, "But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such things there is no law." Verse 25, "If we live by the Spirit, let us also keep in step with the Spirit." You know, when you read these verses here, you think, well, yeah, these are the things I'm supposed to do, okay? As a Christian, we should be practicing all these. You know, we should have love in our life, joy, peace, patience, etc., and the rest of them as well. And, you know, we can strive for these things, and that's a good thing, to strive for them. But what the Lord's been showing me is what I want to share with you, is the first part of that verse is so very, very important. And I think that when we read it, we just sort of read it and just keep on going. But I think we need to go back, and I want to go back here and read the first part of that verse 22 again. Because if we don't quite get that part, we're not going to get the rest. Okay? So let's read this again. It says, "But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, etc." And that's the key of the verse right there. The fruit of the Spirit, the Holy Spirit. This is the fruit that comes from the Holy Spirit working in our lives. And that's this. Yes, in ourselves, in our flesh, we can strive to be loving, we can strive to be joyful and peaceful, but you know, in the flesh we will always fall short, always. We're just not going to be able to do it in the flesh, and that's why the first part of the verse says, "But the fruit of the Spirit," the Holy Spirit. This is supernatural, and that's what I want to get across here in this particular program here, is that the the fruit of the Spirit, these are supernatural, that only we can attain through the Holy Spirit. It's much deeper than what we think. If we even take the first one, this fruit of the Spirit is love. Now, in the world, if you'd ask people, what does love mean? Well, they would give you numerous answers, I'm sure. They would think, that's when you fall in love with somebody else, or you have a deep, deep admiration for someone. Other ones would go into the sexual part of things. Okay, they'll say love is this. We see that so much on TV now, in movies, and with the singers and everything else. But anyhow, you get my point. But that's not what the Lord is. That's not the love that God is talking about. This love here is a love that can only be attained through the power of the Holy Spirit. And that's it. And we go to the next one, joy. We say, well, I have joy sometimes, and sometimes I'm sad, sometimes I'm not. But see, the thing here is, when we have the Holy Spirit and we have the fruit of joy working through our life through the power of the Holy Spirit, we become like Jesus. And that's what this all is about here. And I should have mentioned this earlier, but see, all these things we read here, love, joy, peace, patience, this is Jesus. This is Jesus when he walked here on the earth. It's him now as well. And we are to be like Jesus. We should want to be like Jesus. We should strive to be like Jesus. But to do it in our own flesh, in our own strength, we're always going to fall short. We're not going to get there. But when the power of the Holy Spirit comes into our life, when we're saved and the Holy Spirit comes in and we keep in step with the Spirit of God, all these that we've read here can come alive in a supernatural way in our lives, and we can live like Jesus lived. We can have that power within us to live as he did. Jesus, when we look at his life while he was here on earth, and as he walked, we can see all of this, the fruit of the Spirit working in his life, all of these. And he wants us to be able to walk as he walked, but it cannot be in our own strength. We can try, but we'll always fall short. It needs to be in the strength and the power of the Holy Spirit. And that's so very important. I was thinking about this and how I could explain this, and I'm going to give it a shot here. Maybe this will help a little bit. You have a tree, and obviously in a tree you have the 4 seasons, but we see that when the sap comes up into the tree and goes out, we see it bud. You get the buds on the tree, and then you get the leaves, and you get the fruit, whatever type of tree it might be, rather it be apple, peach, pear, whatever. But it's the sap that comes up through the tree that gives the tree its ability and its power to produce the fruit. It's the sap that comes up through. Now we know in the winter, late fall, we see the sap goes down, and what happens? Well, the fruit, it's done bearing fruit. We see the fruit drop off, we see the leaves drop off, and we just have that bare tree. Now that bare tree isn't it's not really dead, okay? It's still there. It's going to spring back to life. But that tree in itself cannot produce the fruit that it was meant to produce without the sap moving up through and energizing it, feeding it, and giving it the ability to produce the fruit that it's supposed to bear. And that's like us with the Holy Spirit. Without the Holy Spirit working in our life, we're like that tree in the winter. I'm not going to say we're dead, okay, but we're unable to produce the fruit the way God would have us to produce the fruit. We're unable to attain that the way God would have us to attain it and to have it operate within our life. We could try, but it isn't going to happen. But when the sap comes up in the tree, and the sap representing here the Holy Spirit, when we are filled with the Holy Spirit and keep in step with the Holy Spirit, what happens? The Holy Spirit can feed us. The Holy Spirit empowers us. It gives us the ability to produce the fruit. And that's what we need to realize. It's by the Spirit, it's by the Holy Spirit that these fruits become what they're supposed to be. Now, like I said, in the flesh, in ourselves, we could strive for these things. We might hit on them a little bit here, a little bit there, some correct, some wrong. But through the Holy Spirit, when we're truly living by the Holy Spirit, keeping in step with the Holy Spirit and allowing the Holy Spirit to move through us, the Holy Spirit can move in such a way that all these fruits that we read about will come alive within our lives.